Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and hello and welcome to all our participants here to this University of Engineering and Technology Alumni of Canada webinar. UETAC Professional Development Committee has started a series of webinars for professional and career development. We have conducted so far about 4 seminars in this series, and today we are presenting this another of this series. Purpose of this series is to help support our members, their family, their friends in career progression in the engineering and technology field, and identify some alternate job opportunities. Like if someone is not interested in P.Eng or it looks hard, then there are many other options available. So we are trying to explore those all possible potential options. And basic purpose is also share common knowledge and experience, because so far our all presenters are UET graduates and our audience is also UET graduates. So it is a platform. Purpose is to provide a platform where we can share each other's experiences and help each other in career development as well. And obviously it provides a good networking opportunity where people who are looking for information are connected with those people who are expert in their field, who have been successful in their field, so they are able to provide good advice. If any of these listeners or any of person, our UET graduate, who is interested to share their knowledge, experience, expertise, and want to come forward to help the community, they are welcome, and they can email us at uet.alumni.ca@gmail.com. Webinar topic today is mapping the path, construction management, how to achieve, and it is about construction industry. And we know that in Canada, according to Statistics Canada, there are about 1.3 million persons are working in construction industry, and it is about $355 billion industry. And according to some statistics, over the next 10 years, there is a shortage of skilled people in construction industry to the number of about 100,000. So to tune into those 1,000 figure, that is the purpose of our presentation, and it will be presented by our expert in construction management, Mr. Sohail Naseer, who is also a UET graduate and has more than 40 years of experience in construction management and has specialties in risk management, health and safety, and dealing with the management of construction. And he has a wonderful experience, and he has worked in Pakistan, Middle East, US, and companies like both in the government sector and private sector like NESPAC, CDA, KRL, Gibbs and Hills, and Kilbar. Currently, he is working in Ministry of Labor, Training and Skills Development, and he is the member of the Construction Program Provincial Advisory Committee. And he is working as the Executive Board of PEO Ontario Oakville Chapter. He is an active member of Rotary Club Milton. He sits in various committees of the Milton Society, and above all, he is member of our University of Engineering and Technology Alumni Professional Development Committee. Thank you again for joining this webinar, and I will hand over to Sohail Naseer Saab. So you can now share.
Okay, thank you so much, Jazib. Thank you for making host, and I will try to. Do you want to share it, Kamal? Can you guide me? And do I have to share with the PowerPoint, or can I share in PDF also?
You can share in PDF as well.
Yep. So thank you, Assalamu alaikum for everybody, and thank you for giving me an opportunity, especially for by the UTech, and especially by the UTech PD's Professional Development Committee. And I am really thankful to Jazib and Salim for giving me this opportunity. Today we are talking about construction management and how to achieve. And thank you, Jazib, for such a nice introduction, I didn't think so. I'm so much well acquainted with those things, and I see a lot of people around. Some of my friends I see can see that. So on the web stuff. So basically, as a mapping the path, construction management, and how to achieve. Uh, as Naseer has told you that I am a professional engineer, and I want to make a first disclaimer, which is like this. This webinar is only for guidance and information. It did not entail that the engineers to be diverted from the path to become the licensed professional engineer as defined in PEO Act. It only suggests a path to carry forward your further development to achieve the goal of becoming a P.Eng. So basically, it's not meant that that you think so that okay, you can go on that path if you want. It's your choice. It's just an information and guidance. So go ahead, whatever you are doing for P.Eng, do it, and it will be helpful in that. I'm sorry, I'm getting a feedback, and it's okay. So basically, what the webinar will look like, and how it will help you. Basically, we will discuss about what's the available career path in construction industry, like construction manager, construction superintendent, all etc. And what this seminar will help, webinar will help in, it will be helping in to be benefiting to engineer, a technical person in any engineering discipline. It can be civil, electrical, it can be foreign trade or Canadian trade. So basically, it's for everybody. It's just an information seminar and guidance. And also, I will provide some information how to enter the Canadian construction industry, like what's the prerequisite, what are certifications available, what are the tools to use for that. So another further to that, I will be providing some information about mentorship and guidance because UATech do some mentorship, PEO do some mentorship, OSPI do some guidance, so that's available there. And then we will have a question and answer session in the end. So let's start with the first thing. What's the role of the construction management? When we talk about the role of the construction management, first I want to define what the construction management is. Construction management is a professional service that provides a project's owner with effective management of the project's schedule, cost, quality, safety, scope, and function. The architect or engineer who designs the project, the general contractor who oversees day-to-day operations and manages subcontractors. Construction managers oversee and lead a range of building projects from beginning to end. They are responsible for setting and keeping schedules, monitoring finances, and making certain that everybody is doing what they should every day. So basically, construction management is a professional that provides oversee and lead a range of building projects from beginning to end. They are responsible for setting and keeping schedules. Construction management is a professional service that uses specialized project management techniques to oversee the planning, designing, construction project from its beginning to its end. So basically, sometimes people do confuse between construction manager versus project manager. While the construction manager oversees on-site operations, such as personnel, materials, and the construction budget, project manager oversees all phases of the project from marketing to administrative needs. If you think about a construction project as a timeline, the project manager is involved from start to end, whereas the construction manager is only involved during the actual construction phase. So basically, he is providing service to the actual construction. He's available on the site. He do that on his project site. He discuss things. He discuss material, all those things, approval of material. This is a part of both construction manager and project manager. So it's a sort of a you can sort of marriage between construction management and project management together. And once the project is done, it can be a building project, it can be a industrial project, it can be a telecommunication project, any type of project. You need a construction manager. Sometimes the construction manager is a civil engineer, sometimes he is a mechanical engineer, sometimes he's an electrical engineer, depending on the nature of the project. So basically, construction management covers all the disciplines. Sometimes he's a chemical engineer if he's doing a plant, chemical plant or petrochemical plant. So sometimes a chemical engineer becomes a construction manager because he's aware of the project, and he has all the information in place. So this is basically construction management is a vast field, and it gives you an idea what is to be done. Now let's discuss what's the role of the construction manager. He will have to plan the project, organize. He has to schedule it so that it can complete it in time. He has to direct it to all the people who are working under him, what to do, what not to do, what is supposed to be done. He has to control it. He has to control the progress, control the financial also, because he don't want to spend that money of the owner on certain things which is not required. And it's finishing and the construction, and then it's completion of the construction project. So basically, it entails every aspect of construction to which is construction manager responsible. He can hire. Sometimes hiring and managing subcontractors are done at the head office level, but sometimes it's done on a project site. If you need somebody right away, you can hire, you can manage subcontractors and making their bills payments and all those things. Then preparing and submitting budgets. That's also one of the part when there's a change order coming up. So he has to prepare a budget and submit it to the head office and to the client and the owner that, okay, this is required to be done. And other thing which is also is a part of the construction manager role is to maximize the use of the resources, whether it be a human resource, whether it be material or anything, or time. So he is responsible for that available resources also. And he has to optimize the final product, like working with architects, because there may be a design change coming, there may be issue during the construction, which has to be taken care of. He will contact the architect, the engineer, to make sure that the product they are delivering is proper, is meet this requirement, what is supposed to be doing, and what is to be done. So working with architect, negotiating contracts, he can be a representing firm in the meetings, like he is responsible for building code, he is responsible for people coming who are doing inspection for buildings, or inspection for municipal inspectors, building code inspectors, any other fire inspectors, all those things, all those people are involved in construction, and the construction manager is responsible for performing, helping them, abetting them, and guiding them to do this thing. So, and it's supposed to be insurance compliance with local and provincial construction laws, and like building code in Ontario, like municipal codes, like environment, like natural resources ministry code requirements. He has to make sure that all the laws are followed. And on top of that, which is my preference is that, and which is my expertise, is keeping construction workers safe. So he has to ensure that every aspect of construction is safe for workers and is safe for the project. So he has to make sure that all the regulations of Ministry of Labor is followed. Ensure that if he can improve that, he has to make sure that every worker is working safe, and all those things has to be done by the construction manager as he is responsible for the project site, and he's a lot of responsibility on it and it covers his role is like that. It's a big role of the construction man. So if you are a civil engineer and you are following the path of going through the licensing, you have a chance to work as a construction manager, which improves your knowledge about the procedures and what is being done. So it will give you a chance to get more experience. So it is. I know it's a bit a challenging thing that to put your role as a construction manager in when you are applying for the license or for going for the license, because you need to have some engineering thing also. Let's go next slide. Next slide. So now I'm talking about the traits of a construction manager. You have talked. We see the role of the construction manager. Now, what he should have it so that he can be a competent and good construction manager to be at the site and to be followed. So basically, number one is communication skills. He should have a communication skill. He can communicate with the trades, with the engineers, with the supervisors, with the building, with the inspectors of buildings, all those things, law enforcement people, which is coming to enforce law at the site. So he should be a good communicator. He should be a good communicator, have a communicating skills with clients, with and because sometimes it happens that poor communications were unable to define objectives. So it's just very important that you have a communication skill. You know what you're talking about, and you have to communicate in a manner that people can understand that, and people and the worker can understand that, or tradesperson can understand, because you are dealing with day-to-day activity on a construction project, and you might, for a big project, you might have a team of 10 people working around you who are responsible for that, but you still have to organize that. You still have to make sure that you are meeting your requirements. If somebody has some issues, some concerns about drawings, about as-built situation, about testing, all those things, you should be aware of that, and you should be communicating very well with them, because it's the most important skill. One other thing is accessibility. You should be always accessible to your subordinates. You should be also always accessible to your seniors, so that projects do not suffer with your absence or with your not accessibility. Projects should be followed like that, and it should be available. People should be available and accessible. Sometimes, when we are in Canada right now, sometimes such a bad weather, but still you have to go to the site, because you might want to make sure that the project site is safe, and the people who are working are safe, and the people who are working there are following that. So you still have to do that, because that's accessibility. So this is one of the traits for the construction. Depth of knowledge. That's also very important. You may not have all the knowledge, because you are a specialist in one subject, but you may not have all knowledge, but you still have to have some knowledge, so that you respect, subordinate respect, understanding details, like why certain materials are used in lieu of others. This is all reputation. It involves reputation. So if you know what material you are using and why you are using it, you can explain it to subordinate. You can why we are not using this process or this method. It has to be explained to the subordinate, so they have the respect for you. If they don't have respect for you, then they're probably not looking towards you all the time. So basically, you have to have all the concept, all the thing available within your reach, so that you can talk to them, you can explain them, you can inform them about that. And same is competence. While ranked only the fourth most important trait, the ability to do one's job is still exceedingly important. If the owner is not happy, you are not doing your job properly. The owner is not happy. You are not good for the construction management. So it's basically these are the basic traits. I just highlighted the basic traits, but you have to have some traits like that. You have to develop yourself competence by studying things, by finding out new processes, by looking into the new processes, new procedures to develop. It's all basically a construction management manager role. I agree. To some people might be saying that, okay, how is so much responsible? No, he has support. He has a project engineer office. He has a construction inspector, construction contract coordinator at the site. These people are available to help him, but still he has to lead the team. He's the leader of the team, and when you are leading the team, you should know everything, especially so that you are competent to do that job. So there's a different opportunities available in construction management. You can be a resident construction inspector, you can be field engineer, construction superintendent, construction service administrator. These all are the opportunities available, and you find a contract administrator. I was looking into the different ads on LinkedIn and all those things, and I've seen that the traits that they are looking for those in those ads, basically for a construction manager, they need to know that what is your competence, how competent you are, what is your background experience, and the people who are internationally trained engineers coming from all over the world in Canada do have that background. They have done that job. They have done that job in a previous life, or the back where we are coming from. But They don't have experience in construction management in Canada. There's no difference if experience is required. There's the same procedure used. The formwork is same. The welding is same. The testing is same. The inspection is same. There's nothing different between what you have learned at when you are working as an international trainer, whether you are working in Pakistan, India, Middle East, wherever you are, or in East Shore, wherever you are, you will have the same experience. It's the same. It's engineering, and engineering is same everywhere. I think there are some good people here in this seminar webinar. They can agree with me that basic principles are same. There's no change. Maybe there's change in because of the weather, because of the climate. Maybe you have to do more. I'm talking about concrete because I'm civil engineer. Maybe do you have to cure the concrete more, or there's a different way of curing, but still you have to do the same thing. So basically, for a resident engineer, they look for the who is responsible for plans and specification, basic knowledge of tools, equipment, instrument use in the performance of job, intermediate communication. The same thing which I have explained you. You need to have those information and those experience. But the only thing that sometimes we are not aware of that we do these things, and then we said that, okay, how can I become this? Yeah, you can apply for this job. It's a chance. It's a chance if you motivate them, if you find out the right mix, and you can do that. So construction management is not a because in Canada, I would say I would like to say it in some projects, in some of the bigger projects, probably you don't need an engineer there. They don't need it as a construction manager to be a civil engineer or to be a mechanical engineer, to be electrical engineer. They don't need it. They don't ask for that. They want somebody who is knowledge of that. And all the people who are coming from all over the world, they do have the knowledge. They have all the experience. So what is hindering us not to going for those jobs? I already said in my disclaimer, this doesn't mean that you should not go for the P.Eng, what you are aspiring for, but it's a chance that you should still working in the industry and you are getting some experience, and then you know the building codes, then you know the health and safety issues, health and safety concerns, all the environmental concerns, like you are dealing with asbestos or you're dealing with something else. So basically, you will get the knowledge. So and my concern is that, and my always advice to people is that go for the P.Eng. But if it is a different, it has a different pace. But still, you want to work in the industry that you are trained and you have experience. You can work in a different situation, in a different jobs, in a different way. Like resident engineer, like field engineers, you can work as geotechnical field technician if you have a soil engineering experience from anywhere in the world. You might have working on a dam. You might be working on a water supply project, or you might be working in a foundation, concrete foundation, or you might be working for the foundation for the chemical plants. You have the experience for geotechnical. You know what need to be done. You can still do that. There's nothing wrong with that. We should as an engineer, we should think about that what we can do as an engineer. And that's the point is my presentation is that construction management is a field where you can do anything. And in some places, they might ask for a civil engineer. They might ask for something like when you are approving something or doing something, they might need a civil engineer there. May not be a professional engineer there. They might need a mechanic. But when you are checking the welding inspections or electrical communication system or any electrical installation, you don't need an engineering degree to do that. You don't need a P.Eng unless you have to sign some document which requires a P.Eng. Otherwise, there's no requirement of engineering in a construction industry. So let's talk about the preparatory courses and certification in construction management. There's a lot of schools available in Toronto area where they provide you different type of certification and course management. George Brown College has some huge certification courses that can be done at George Brown College, and they are. I am not aware of how expensive are they, but they might be. There's some charges because it's a private college, and they might have some charges. But you can always ask for OSAP loan or something like that. I think you should go there. Then we have a CCA Gold Seal Construction. So basically, CC is a gold seal certificate, which a construction corporation companies has developed that gold seal thing, and it is all over the Canada. You can be a gold seal from British Columbia. You can be a gold seal from Alberta. You can work in Ontario. You can have a gold seal from Ontario also. Then they have a lead green associates. This is a new term is coming in, and so it's not a part of the basically construction, but it's also part of the construction. It's basically more towards the facility and more towards the mechanical, HVAC, and electrical thing where they want to make sure that there's a less energy wasted in and green to make it green and so on and so forth. So basically, it's a helps you in if you get this certification, you can be a good consultant, you can be a contractor. All those things are good for people who are engineers but want to go in a divergent path. They can do that, and it's a great industry. Then there's a Centennial College and Algonquin College. They also provide some courses on construction management, and you can join them. And it's a good college. They are good colleges. They have courses in construction management. They have courses in construction health and safety. They have courses in HVAC, like Humber College has a course in HVAC, which is a very great course, like heating, refrigeration, conditioning technician. Basically, it's a technician course, but you will learn a lot if you are in a mechanical thing. You know, learn a lot about that in that course. They have Lean Six Sigma, which is basically happens in Constega. It's more towards geared towards project management, but it's also good for construction managers and all those, because in the later stage they can move to project management. I know Kamal has did a presentation about that, Primavera and all those things. I didn't discuss this right now because it can be partly both sides, because there's a very thin line difference between a project management and a construction management. Construction management is more on day-to-day activities of the projects, anything like concerning like that. But here the project manager looks overall picture. So it's the same thing. It's the same process. It's the same thing. But everybody has a different sphere to work. So construction management is basically is for the day-to-day activities. So there's a certification from IHSA, which is Infrastructure Health and Safety Association, which gives you training about the safety on the projects. Whether you are doing a project in a chemical, or are you doing any nuclear or construction or industrial mining, they provide that trainings to the people for construction supervision, how to plan that, how to review that, how to inspect that. That's also, but I would say more stress on health and safety. In Ontario, health and safety is a very big thing, and lot of projects are very when they are bidding for the projects, especially in the municipal and government level, they have to provide sort of a information about their health and safety policies, health and safety procedures, and also about what accidents they have, they have to provide all the information, what type of what the policy, and especially when in this present circumstances when we are in pandemic situation, COVID-19, yeah, there's a lot of health and safety concerns out there, and people are doing their job, and we need a lot of health and safety consultants also, and a civil engineer or mechanical engineer or electrical can be a great health and safety consultant also. And Ministry of Labor, I work with Ministry of Labor, so I know from inside that we are hiring people all the time, because this is the only job, because we want to make sure it's all Ontario government policy that everybody works safe, and they are doing good. They are doing safe jobs. So IHSA provide that, and you can become a consultant with any. There's a lot of consultants available, safety consultant in the market available. who can hire you if you have that experience, if you have the expertise, if you have knowledge. They will definitely, there's a chance that they can hire you, because other than the health and safety, you are an engineer also. So basically, it's a jeopardy for them, because they can hire one person for two jobs. So that's the point, and it's an interesting thing. And then the Canadian Center for Occupational Health and Safety. I'm I can say that why you are so biased. I'm biased because I'm a health and safety person, so I'm biased towards that. It's a good profession. You can go there. I'm a civil engineer. I am doing this job. I have no problem, because I have the experience of my engineering, my construction, and it's all same. So basically, that's the thing. Other than that, next slide. Let's see. So next part is mentorship and guidance, which I really salute Salim. Salim is here or not, on the UTech alumni, UT alumni, that they have started this webinar situation. They can provide you guidance. We have Jahaze, we have Maksud here, we have Kamal here, we have all of those people who can provide you guidance, help you in getting into the job market, or learning different trade, different experience, getting different experience, and learning different subjects. And then we have OSPI, which is Ontario Society of Professional Engineers. There's no restriction. You can become a member. You don't need not to be a P.Eng. You don't need to be you only need to be an engineer, and that's all. And they can make member geoscientists. They have different courses, and that courses can help you in finding the way to go for P.Eng also. And that courses also help you in getting different experiences and subject matter specialists or something like that. So these are the courses available with OSPI, and they provide that guidance. And it's a courses available on their website. You can register there and you can get that information. Other than that, Professional Engineers from Ontario, I personally believe that any international engineer coming into the Canadian market should go for PH. Maybe it's not. Some will say, why? I would say that it will give you a confidence in yourself that, okay, I've done for 30 years of engineering outside this world. Why should not be doing an engineering work? You should be doing an engineering work, but for engineering work, in certain situations, you need a license. It's not A license is not required in some conditions, like when you are working with, because they have industrial exception available, where if you are working in a manufacturing industry, only one engineering license is good enough for 20 people working under him. So people don't do that. That's okay. I don't mind it. But when you are working with the public sector thing, you need to have that. And that's the point, that we have so many engineers in this webinar. Probably a lot of them are having the license. They went through that process and they got it. So that's all I have to say for the license. And further that, any question and answers, that's all for my presentation is, sir. And if you have any question and answer, do let me know.
Yeah, thank you, Sohail Sab. Thank you very much, and wonderful and very informative. So now we will start our question and answer session. Most of the people are on mute, but they can unmute and ask the question. Sohail Sab, and he will be very happy to answer.
I have a question, Jahaziv sir.
From me or Sohail Sab?
No, from Sohail sir, obviously.
Okay,
Hi, Shahid, how are you?
Go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
How's everybody?
Wonderful, thank you.
Well, first of all, I must appreciate the great presentation. And because my background is mechanical engineering, so I was not aware of any discipline can join the construction industry as a construction manager or any construction professional role. My question is, how much knowledge as a construction manager one should have about the Ontario Building Code? Because being in Canada, especially being in Ontario, you need to know about the Ontario Building Code. So how much knowledge as a construction professional do you really need to have?
Yeah, you need to be aware of that. The problem is that how much knowledge is not about. You need to be aware of what you are doing, what building code is being applied for that. This is available. And when you talk about when you're talking about the construction manager, he is not responsible for designing anything. He's responsible only for the implementation. So there are information available for Ontario Building Code which defines that. Like I just say, give an example. It is Ontario Building Code requirement that you have a two exits in any building, right? So it's a fire requirement, basically NIFA, National Fire Code requirement, but it's in part of the building code. Like you have to have anchor points on the roof, like something like that. If you're doing some mechanical work, you have to work outside the safe area. You need that. So basically, you need to have some information about the building code. So what I'm talking about, that what the George Brown is offering, they ask for some type of relevant information courses for mechanical engineer like you. If you are doing HVAC or you are doing mechanical erection installation, you definitely need some information about that. But they are already covered when you design it, when you get a design. So you can talk to your design engineer about that. But I would prefer that if you want to do something good, you need to have some information.
Well,
I can add a bit here with your permission, Sohail sir.
No, I know.
This building code is basically related with the buildings and residential building and the high-rise building, commercial buildings, those things. But that whole part is about 30 to 40% of the construction. But
Yeah.
building code is not much required in infrastructure projects like
No.
roads, highways,
No, it's not.
dams, pipelines,
But when you're doing
etc.
steel structure or air conditioning or something like that, then it's not required.
yeah, if that is the case, then what other standards or codes are required to know?
Here we have a CSA standards which define the codes required, the testing and like welding testing and that pipeline testing. They define CSA, define that codes, and they are available in the market and in the thing. And then they follow ASTM and all those codes, which is I think which you have read in your engineering. So that's not a point that there's nothing specific because in CSA standard normally they take the things from the ASTM and they made it and convert it into a Canadian standard, which is almost the same, but they work on that and they've defined that thing based on like our condition, our physical conditions, climatic conditions. Yeah, they make some changes in it and they put in it, and CSA standards are available for everything.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Ji, sir. Kareem.
How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you very much, and great work and great presentation, and all for the teamwork is really appreciable. My question is, as a civil engineer, the whole life experience in roads and buildings, if you are not in position to get the P.Eng here, but still you have enough knowledge of lifetime experience in construction field, what is the appropriate and the right certification to get as a construction engineer job? Certification.
Yeah, you have a construction management certification available from George Brown. Gold Seal is available from Canadian General Contractors. And there's colleges I can see from Algonquin. You can do some certification on construction management. That's available there.
So they will talk about the same Primavera?
No. Now you're confusing construction management with project management. Project management is a different aspect where they talk about Primavera, because they as a construction manager, what I have seen not in a big project, but in a small projects, like you don't need a prime because these things come out through the office, because project manager is sitting in the office who is guiding you and who is helping you. But construction manager basically is maintaining the site, maintaining the construction process, the construction procedure is followed, the testing is done, right material is being used. That's the job of the construction managers.
Right.
He has a responsibility of project, but he is not directly responsible for a big project. But a small project, he can be using Primavera also, like a small building or something like that. No, that's also a good chance to learn. If you have a chance to learn, you learn it. It's a good idea. But as a construction manager, as I see that he's responsible for how to do the construction and how to plan it, how to manage it.
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Yes,
First of
yes.
all, it's very nice presentation, very informative. But we have gone through some construction drawings, and there I saw some note from the designer that he says, "Oh, if there is any discrepancy, please brought it to the notice of the designer," and blah blah.
Yeah.
So, how much is the construction manager or the project manager responsible for such kind of discrepancy if it is overlooked during construction, either at any stage, if it comes up later on? And is it some legal responsibility of the construction manager and project manager to point out all these things? Either it is the sole responsibility of the designer. So that is the very.
Look, I can't say about the legal responsibility because I'm not a legal expert. But when something happens like that, and if you have overlooked something in a drawing, it was in the drawing that if you don't find something, yeah, it's our construction manager is required to know how to read the drawing.
No, read the drawing is a different story. He is
Yeah,
following
and
the
how to
but
ensure that that the notes are followed on the drawing.
yeah, sometimes it happens that even I have reviewed some kind of projects for particularly for you can say Bulletin 19 as a FRC consultant, and I saw a lot of their drawings. They have a discrepancy in detailing about the risk areas, and we pointed out to back, and then they repair it. But sometimes if it is overlooked, and if you did not point it out, as per the drawings, there is some requirement. If there is insulation system is not right, if their foundation is not properly insulated, these are the things which is basically it has been overlooked while constructing the drawing. Maybe it was not a part of the designer. He has provided the basic information, but
So
the construction drawings has the this kind of.
I agree with you. With some drawings are deficient in different information, but as a construction manager, if you have a experience of 10 years, you can see from right away that okay, this thing doesn't look like. Actually, the design of any building, anything, it's a responsibility of the engineer who has designed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if something goes wrong, like had happened at Elliott Lake accident, yeah, it's a responsibility of the engineer to make sure that the design are sufficient enough and they are good and they are as per building codes, what are the requirements of the building code. But as a construction manager, because you are aware of the building code, you know that what insulation is required, what type of foundation it should be.
Yeah.
There can be a change in the foundation. He has designed for different soil and the soil comes out different. So it's a responsibility as a construction manager to inform the engineer to see that, okay, this thing has changed, this thing is different results coming on. It's a responsibility of him also. But as a overall responsibility goes to the design engineer who is responsible for designing of that project.
Yeah.
Asad Naqvi Saab has raised the hand for a question, I think.
Asad Naqvi sir, मैं बहुत डरता हूँ मेरा.
No, sir. So first of all, I really want to commend you the way you share the wealth of knowledge. That's absolutely fantastic. So nice of you. I really appreciate listening to you. Whether I'm at an outing outside of the UATech forum or at the UATech forum too. Me being a finance guy now, because I'm dealing more with finances with my projects, could you throw some light on what's the range of the money a construction manager could make? Depending upon if it's a residential project, if it's a big construction, it's a commercial building, or it's a residential skyrise. I'm trying to figure out that if somebody jumps into this foray, how much money could he expect to make? Range. You don't have to be specific with the number. Just the range. Like, is it 60,000, 70,000, 80,000 a year? How much the guy makes?
So what I heard from different people and through my experience, which I learned from talking to different construction managers, the range goes from depending on the type of project, depending on the nature of work, depending on if you are building a subdivision houses, probably you don't get that much money. But if you are building a high-rise building, then definitely you get, or you're building a industrial complex, you may get, or infrastructure, you may get more. But the normal range is from, I think so, it's from 90,000 to 150,000 per year.
Excellent. Thank you very much, sir. That's good to know. That's very good to know.
Yes, there is Rashid Bhatti Saab.
Ji.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
So I have a question. I'm new in Canada, and I've started my career 6 months ago. And being a professional in Pakistan and Middle East, there is always a master and slave relationship between the contractor and the consultant and the client. I'm used to working environment where a client is the lord and contractor is a slave. And I have observed here that the things are different in Canada. Being construction manager from the client side is totally different of what we are practicing in rest of the world. So can you please explain this phenomenon?
Uh, just to, I'm a political person. I can't say about Pakistan or Middle East why they have it, but in Canada, I'm sure human value is more than anything else, and it's human rights, and I'm sure that all the workers who are working here has the rights to differ from the owners and thing. But it's a case to case basis. Sometimes owner may be asking you something which you cannot do, and you have the right for refusal. So that's not a point. Point is that I agree with you. I have also worked in Pakistan and Middle East, where construction manager is responsible to owner. But here is also, yeah, they have directors, they have finance people, they have controls over that. They have check and balances. So I don't think so. I can't answer it properly like that why it's happening, but it's basically the culture of the Canada, and basically we are living in a democratic world, and I think everybody's a right there to agree or not to agree.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hello.
Yes,
Saab.
I can hear you, Salim.
I just want to say thank you to Sohail Naseer Saab, first of all, and it's such a very well informative and composed, like to the point presentation. I'm sorry I was not able to attend like the last webinars, but today I did special. I said we have to get these things done. But there was a point when initially when we started the presentation that there are about say expectations about 90,000 to 100,000 jobs within next few years. Yeah. So I will request Jahanzeb Saab or Sohail Naseer Saab, if we can pinpoint different sectors, like, to the audience or people who will be watching this program, like the recorded version of this one, that okay, in the government sector you are expecting, in the private sector, and where they can, approach to apply for that kind of a job, like say, just give them a little bit of a hint that can be beneficial for them. Is there any way we can add that one?
Yeah, the construction, when they talk about the construction, so it includes all kind of constructions and jobs in all kinds of sectors like consulting, engineering, the government, with contractors, even with the materials kind of thing, where materials are manufactured or supplied. So it is scattered all over scenario, and especially in construction industry, when always when there is a recession, construction industry goes down. But whenever there is recession, on the other hand, government invests in construction because it boosts all other sectors. There is a ripple effect, there is a domino effect where all industries then start merging in. So, but this number was just in construction, and over the next 10 years, this is an estimation, but I am involved in this construction. So, but I hear a lot, like there is always shortage of skilled people. There is always short of skilled people. So improving skills and the courses which have mentioned by Sohail Saab, so that is a good way to at least get familiarity with the Canadian construction environment. And if, as he mentioned, there is no difference if you have worked in construction abroad and you are coming to Canada, you are equally eligible to apply. But we will try, your suggestion is good. We'll try to pinpoint, if we could, some of those sectors.
just to add to Jahazeb's thing, I think Jahazeb has very well explained. It is basically construction, and a lot of infrastructure work is going on. And whenever the government is in depression situation, they always invest in infrastructure. And infrastructure doesn't mean that it's only roads and buildings and highways and all those things. It includes electrical hydropower lines, it includes power plants, it includes everything, nuclear power plants, anything. A lot of construction is going in Bruce Power. I can see that. I can solve. But the point is that how we can go there and use our ask people to join them, and how is that interaction is required on the level of networking. In this Canadian industry or in Canadian atmosphere, networking is very important link. If I know somebody, I can always say, okay, I know. I just give an example. I know Jahazeb. He's looking for a job. I don't. He's not looking for a job, but I just said an example. So I can ask Salim to please check it out. So I would like to say that what you are doing is that a good job for networking. If we create a network of engineers between ourselves, and we can help all the engineers who are not probably, we can guide them, we can mentor them. That's the thing which we should do as a UTech, and I think we are doing it a good job with Salim's uh, vision and Jazeb's action program. So both of you are doing a good job. So basically, when we are talking about, as you're saying, that how we can go get that job, yeah, we need to know that the people who are working there, we need to know them. And there's a lot of, I heard a lot of things coming on, especially when there was a boom going on in Alberta in the oil industry. A lot of our engineers, our international trained engineers were there and working there. Now that the boom has moved to Ontario for the nuclear power generation, changes in the thing, there's a lot of work going on in chemical plants, nuclear plants. So basically, these all things are this reason for seven webinars and this thing is that to communicate and to do networking.
Sure.
So if somebody, I know, recently Ministry of Labor hired about 35 inspectors. I know that. So we can, our engineers or international trained engineers or any tradesperson can apply for that. They need some certification that has to be done. They have to fulfill that requirement, but still you can do that.
I am from a different field. I'm from the oil industry, but this seminar or webinar has been very informative. And I wish on the similar line, if we can have access to something on the petroleum industry or in oil industry, because like all my other colleagues, I have been in Middle East for more than 40 years. But now since last 3 years, I'm here. But this pandemic came in and I couldn't do the so-called networking. So I'm on my own. So I'm also looking for some opportunities in consultancy and all those things, but related to the oil industry and especially the lubricant side. So if we have some credentials in it or some certifications in that will help me. If Mr. Naseer can throw a light, because it's a slightly off-track subject, but still I'm looking for it.
No, nothing. No subject is offline, man. Is it important to that everybody who is joining this webinar should have an? I have given this seminar presentation will be, I think, Janse will provide a copy to everybody, and it's links there, all links there where you can see. I only collected rather a link for the construction management, but you can have different petroleum industry. Petroleum industry is not very common in Ontario, but there's still things are there. And but Alberta is the biggest petroleum thing, and they do have some courses in Calgary and all those areas where they can provide this information about lubricants, about petroleum, how to go about it, and consultancy also. It's a basically, I would say, as Ms. Maksud is my friend, is a consultant, and he knows that it's only networking which is required. You need to have an experience, but you need to have a networking. So if you don't have a networking, and this platform, the UTech platform, provides you networking also, and this helps you in getting good results.
Thank you very much.
There is a
I see
question
somebody
from,
hand on it. Muhammad
yeah,
Shoaib hands on.
yeah.
Assalamualaikum, Sohail Saab. Thank you very much. Presentation आपकी बड़ी informative थी. तो इस तरह की presentations होती रहनी चाहिए frequently.
And Shoaib Saab, and I'm thankful to you for coming to this webinar, and it's a great
Thank
idea.
you, sir. मैं भी इसी industry में हूँ. मैं Petro Chemicals में काम करता हूँ as a quality control engineer. So it's very much relevant to the construction and contract administration.
Just to add to John's thing, I think construction is one of the biggest employer in Ontario
Yes.
after the manufacturing.
Yes,
Yeah.
after manufacturing.
But as I told everybody that what you are manufacturing drywall, you are doing wood, you are doing paint, you are doing whatever you are doing. Construction always include that thing in their process. It's there always. There's nothing. If you need a window, we are manufacturing a window. You still need the construction to put in. So basically, I have a bias about construction. So basically, it's a process which moves things around. Like you need equipment, you need big equipment for infrastructure. You need to do that. If you are manufacturing it, you are manufacturing for construction industry partly, not 100%, but you are.
So thank you, everybody. So if there is no more question, I will ask Salim Saab, or if Shamim Sheikh Saab, I think, is also available, if they can have their concluding remarks, and then we can finish this up until next. So we will have our next webinar next month, and information will be provided by email. And another information, like our previous seminar, which was by Mr. Kamal Mirza, that is available now on our UETAC YouTube channel. So recording of that is available.
Sorry, John, I just want to add a few things by the permission of Sohail sir. One question was asked regarding the Building Ontario OBC, Ontario Building Code.
Yes.
So there is one certification which is called BCIN.
Mm-hmm.
BCIN is if you don't want to take a path of P.Eng and you still want to design smaller structures and you want to have a complete in and out of that process, then BCIN is the way to go, and you will have a full grasp on the building codes. Secondly, the certifications, other than you have Sohail sir very clearly elaborated, there is one civil engineering technologist where if you don't really want to go for like a P.Eng, which we think, but yeah, it's your choice. So in case you you don't want to pursue for P.Eng, then civil engineering technologist is a very good option, and it's very close to P.Eng designation. But it gives you a lot of credential in terms of as a civil engineer or like practicing these things. So yeah, these two quick comments. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Good
Thank
information.
you, Kamal, for that.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for that engineering technologist, OSAT is the organization, and it is provided. Link is provided in Sohail Saab's this presentation.
Dr. Sheikh is there. May I request him for the closing remarks if he's listening? I believe he might be. So let me put those closing remarks. First of all, I want to say thank you for all the participants who had spared their time to involved in the positive work done by the UTAC and its professional development committee, especially Jahazib Khan Sahab. But the way today's presentation was held and it was composed and all the preparation was done, it is remarkable. I think that will give us a good footprints and for future leads, that how to conduct all these presentations and how to get the community involved and how we can do all those things prior to the presentation done. But the main thing I was impressed by the whole today's episode is that everything was to the point, like the passion of the presentation presenter and the contents of the presentation they were really like, say, for every listener, it's not for like the only for the construction management, aspirators for the future, but also to the other listeners also. It was to the point, it was involving, it was not kind of like too much, the other information that it makes you boring, but everybody got quite bit of a, information also and involvement into the program. So I want to say, special thanks to Sohail Naseer Saab, Jahanzeb Saab, Kamal Mirza Saab, the entire team of the PDC. And honestly, we as a community of engineers, we owe a lot to you guys, like especially in these pandemic times, the way you spend, spare your time and you spend the time for these constructive things to be done for the community is commendable. Like, other, groups or sectors of the community, they look towards the UTAC, that being a non-political and organization and people who are just working for the betterment of the community, it brings a very good name for all of us, not for just for like individuals, but as a group of engineers from UET or even at NED. People respect us because we, in these times, we are doing things that a lot of people are thinking, oh, maybe, it's the COVID time and we don't have time that much available. So I salute to all of you. And on behalf of UTEC, like say the executives and board of directors and members, very special thanks to Sohail Naseer Saab and the entire team of PDC, Khan Saab and Kamal Mirza, Sonala Chaudhary, and all other people who were involved in all these presentation. Bhatti Saab had a very good presentation. I think that got us the momentum to do things where we stand as of today.
Of course,
And
of course.
thank you very much again. And over to Khan Saab.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. All participants, thank you, Sohail Saab, for today's presentation. And we will continue with this. And as we will move forward, we will be learning and improving on our presentations. And thank you very much. And Assalamu alaikum.
Can we do some special claps for Sohail Saab?
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Sohail
you,
Saab.
Ji.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that, Salim and Jadeb. I think it's a good, and the PTA. I can see Shamim Sheikhs up there right now, and it's good that everything is going good, and UTAG is doing a wonderful job of providing this type of webinar services. And I really appreciate. I really appreciate that you have asked me to do that. You have considered me to do that. So I'm really appreciate. I'm highly applied for that.
You deserve that, sir.
You're from day one of the PDC, you are there.
Yeah.
And if Dr. Saab is there, we can request them like for a few words. Dr. Shamim Sheikh.
अस्सलामुअलैकुम सोहेल साहब और सलीम साहब, मैं चुप करके सुन रहा था और दरमियान में मेरे एक स्टूडेंट का फ़ोन आ गया था। ये बात मैंने पहले भी जहांजेब को कही थी कि आप लोगों ने जो अरेंजमेंट्स करने शुरू किए हुए हैं, उनमें जो सबसे ज़्यादा इम्प्रेसिव चीज़ मुझे लग रही है वो इसका प्रोफेशनलिज्म है। What we are really doing now is that we are graduating up to a point where we can start learning from each other also. And I want to stress the point that with my own experience, the graduates of UET Lahore are no worse than anybody in the world, no matter where they are from, whether they are from IIT India or any good US university or Canadian university. I think what was missing in them was that we were unable to get together and start working together as a group so that we can convince ourselves and the people around us that our position is as strong as any other group in the world. And the UTEC has put together a platform. And what Jahanzeb has been doing in the last 1 year, particularly since the start of the pandemic, I think it is a wonderful exercise. And I am hoping that not only we will continue with this, but also attract a lot of people to join us in listening to these seminars. I think a seminar like this offered free to the people at this professional level is something to sell. It's something to tell people that you can't get a better bargain in this society. If I am asked by the university to arrange a seminar like this, I would tell them, what are you going to give me? I'm going to put in the time, I'm going to teach people, but we are doing it as a favor to our own community as well as to others, partly because we want to establish ourselves. So I think after having achieved what we have achieved, please move forward and show it to those people who are not aware of it, and let us have them in. And you will find that some people from that group also will be able to help us move this group further. So I have my hats off to all of you, particularly the speaker of today, Sohail Saab, and Jahanzeb. I think you guys are worth a lot of clapping. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So nice of you.
Thank
you
you for
very much.
kind words.
Yeah, thank you. So with that, I think thank you everybody, and thank you for this encouragement. So until next seminar, I will say goodbye. Khuda Hafiz, everybody.
Thank you very much, now.
Thank you.
Care.
Allah Hafiz. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
So it's a wonderful job. Khan Saab, Zindabad.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jahazib. That's good.
Khan Saab,
Thank you.
You conducted very well, Jahazib.
Thank you, sir. So nice of you.